Welcome everyone, my name is Eliza and I'm going to guide you through this 60-minute mindful vinyasa today. First of all, what you're going to need for today's class, so grab yourself a couple of blocks. If you don't have blocks, Tupperwares work really well with the lid on so that they're nice and stable, or books, so anything that will really hold your weight. What to expect from today's class. So today we're working on back bending. We're working towards wheel pose or bridge pose wherever you are today. If you're practicing with us at home, please be very mindful when we do eventually come to wheel, and please don't force your body into the pose if it's not for you today. We're going to be doing a lot of chest opening, a lot of arm strengthening and hip opening, just to build up to eventually getting to that wheel pose. So we'll start today laying down on your mat with the soles of your feet on your mat. Just resting the back of your head, maybe resting your hands on your belly. And just taking this moment to kind of pin drop your awareness right here into the room and onto your mat. So perhaps starting by noticing how the quality of the air in the room feels on your skin. Notice how your physical body feels today. Perhaps mentally scan through your body and check in for any parts that might need some extra attention today. And finally, notice your breath. Notice if your breath is quick or slow, if it's deep or shallow. Rest your hands on your lower belly, around your belly button. And simply notice how your breath rises and falls in your belly. Notice the movement underneath your hands. Take your time. On your next inhale, breathe deeply, allow your belly to rise, hands rise. And as you exhale, allow your belly to fall, your hands fall. Inhale, belly rise. Exhale, belly falls. Continue this rhythm of breath. Inhale, belly rise. Exhale, belly falls. Diaphragmatic breathing, focusing your breath only around your belly button. Try to breathe with no strain, no discomfort. Take 3 more breaths where you are. At the end of your 3rd exhale, release control of your breath. And take a moment to set your intention for today's practice. Perhaps you want to dedicate your practice to someone or something. Or dedicate your practice to yourself. In your own time, deep inhale in through your nose. Keep inhaling, your belly rise. And take a long, slow exhale by mouth. Sigh it all out. Allowing your breath to run natural and smooth in and out through your nose. Reach your arms overhead. Extend your legs, point your toes. Give yourself a big stretch. And slowly roll over to any side that is comfortable for you. Use your top hand to press yourself up to sit. Coming to sit in any way that's comfortable for you, maybe cross-legged, maybe sitting on your heels. Feel free to take a seat on your block if sitting in this way doesn't feel right for you, or if it feels like you're falling back into your seat. So finding your sit bones. Sit up tall and lower your chin down towards your chest. Maybe find a gentle shake of your head, no, opening up through the back of your neck. Allowing your shoulders to relax. Bring your head to stillness. Raise your head up, chin parallel to the floor. Bring your arms up to shoulder height, palms face down. Swing your right arm underneath your left, eagle arms, cross at your elbows, maybe the back of your hands together, maybe your palms together, it doesn't matter. With your inhale, lift your elbows away from your chest, finding an opening into the space in between your shoulder blades. All right, continue breathing, and as you inhale, arch your back, send your chest towards the ceiling, lift your elbows. And as you exhale, round your spine, allow your elbows to come towards your chest. Inhale to lift your chest, lift your elbows. Exhale to round your spine. Last one, inhale, lift your chest, raise elbows. And exhale to round your spine. Inhale to lift, release your grip, reach arms out. Swap your arms this time. Left arm comes underneath the right, cross at your elbows. You might notice a slight difference between left and right side, that's okay. Inhale to lift elbows away from the chest. And exhale, stay as you are. Inhale to lift your chest, arch your back. Exhale to round your spine, elbows to chest. 2 more, inhale to lift. And exhale to round. Last one. And exhale to round. Slowly release your grip. Release your arms. Roll over your knees and make your way to tabletop. So your wrists are roughly below your shoulders, your knees roughly below your hips. And start with a wrist warm-up. So you can find any wrist warm-up that feels right for you. I'll give you a few options. You could turn your fingertips out to the sides of your mat, find a gentle sway left to right, create some circles with your body. You could maybe turn your fingertips to face towards you to slightly deepen the stretch, or maybe flip one palm at a time and take a slight lean back. So find what feels good for you. Spread your thumb and your pinky finger away from each other as you find the stretch, to keep the stretch active in your hands. So as we know, you tend to spend a lot of time on the hands and wrists in Vinyasa, and there tends to be a lot of weight bearing on the hands and wrists. So it's important that you get them warmed up and mobile before you start moving. All right, bring yourself to stillness. Turn your fingertips to face towards the front edge of your mat. Keep your knees exactly where they are and walk your hands forward for puppy pose. Hips stay high in the air and send your chest down towards the floor. Now, if this feels quite heavy on your shoulders, you could walk your hands a little bit wider or bend your elbows and rest your forehead on the back of your hands. Wherever you are, keep your hips high in the air and keep sending your chest down towards the floor. Maybe your chin rests on the mat. Maybe your forehead rests on the mat. Send your fingertips forward if your arms are reached out. We're here for 2 more breaths. Breathe into any parts of your body that might feel tense or tight. All right, very slowly, very mindfully, start by pressing tops of the feet into the mat. Press hands into the mat. Walk your hands back towards yourself. Come back to tabletop. As you inhale, reach your right arm up. And exhale to thread the needle. Bring your right arm underneath your left. Roll onto the outer edge of your right shoulder. Rest your right ear on the mat. Your left hand can stay where it is, or walk your left hand out in front of you. And maybe deepen the twist by pressing left fingertips into the mat. Breathing once again into the space in between your shoulder blades. Left hand comes underneath the left shoulder. Slowly press yourself up. Come back to tabletop, other side. Inhale to reach your left arm up this time. Exhale to thread left arm underneath the right. Roll onto the outer edge of your left shoulder. Maybe the left ear rests on the mat. If you did on the other side, walk your right fingertips forward this time.
And maybe press right fingertips into the mat. Find that gentle twist. All right, right hand underneath the shoulder. Press yourself back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes, bring your seat down towards your feet. And when you're ready, lift your knees, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Keep a deep bend in your knees for now. This might be your first downward facing dog of the day. Wherever you are, draw your armpits to face towards one another. Spread your fingertips wide and grip down through your fingerprints. Find any movements that feels good for you here. You might want to pedal your feet out. You might want to raise one leg, raise the other, take a split dog. Your choice. You have another 2 breaths to choose any movement for your down dog that feels good for you. A few tips for your downward facing dog today. So keep your fingertips spread wide and keep pressing the mat away from you. So you're sending your hips towards the back edge of your mat. It's more important to have a straight spine in down dog than it is to have straight legs, so you always have the option to bend your knees. Bring your feet to stillness. Bend your knees, look in between your hands, and slowly tiptoe. Walk your feet forward in between your hands. Your feet are about hip-width distance apart. Fold forward, hang out here. Now you could stay as you are. You could grab opposite elbows, hang out here in ragdoll. You could interlace your fingers behind your back and draw your shoulders away from your ears. If you've interlaced your fingers, maybe you want to raise your hands up. Choose what feels right for you. Wherever you are, press your big toes into the mat to shift your weight out of your heels. With your next inhale, can you draw shoulders away from the ears? And exhale to slowly lower your hands down, release your grip. Allow your hands to hang heavy, arms hang heavy, head is heavy. Bring your hands onto your hips, bend your knees. Engage your core, lengthen the crown of your head forward, and very slowly, very mindfully come up to stand. Coming to stand at the top of your mat, your feet are comfortably close, your heels do not have to be touching. Mountain pose. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Inhale to lift your chest towards the ceiling. If this doesn't feel right for you, you can leave your arms by your side. With your inhale, lift your chest. With your exhale, hinge from your hips, bend your knees, fold forward, rest your hands on your lower back. Feel free to leave your hands where they are or release your arms overhead. Draw shoulders away from your ears. On your next inhale, lower your hands down onto your lower back, halfway lift, send the crown of your head forward. So resting your hands on your lower back, take a peek at me if you're not sure. Press your big toes into the mat, maybe find a soft bend in your knees. Zip your belly up to keep this pose active. We're here for one more breath. This is your halfway lift for today. On your next exhale, hinge from your hips, release your grip and fold forward, plant your hands. Step your right foot back and lower your right knee down. Sweep fingertips forward, up and back, low lunge. Scissor your inner thighs together, your legs are strong. With your inhale, reach arms up. And with your exhale, bend your elbows, cactus arms. Spread your fingertips wide and stretch your elbows away from each other. Inhale to lift your chest towards the ceiling. And exhale to draw your elbows back in space. Maybe take a gentle back bend. With every inhale, can you lift your chest to take the weight out of your lower back? And with every exhale, can you send your elbows back a little bit more? Last breath, inhale to lift. Exhale, send the elbows back. Inhale to come back to center, reach arms up, stretch up. And exhale to take a twist to your left, reach your left arm back, right arm forward. Hug your left thigh to the center line of your body. You could stay as you are or very slowly, very mindfully lift the back knee, stay twisted. Drag your right heel towards the back edge of your mat. Inhale, chest forward, arms up, high lunge or low lunge. Exhale, hands down to frame your front foot. Hands are flat, step your left foot back to a plank. Hips come up and back to downward facing dog. All right, 3 spinal rolls. Take a peek at me if you're not sure. On your next inhale, press toes into the mat, round your spine forward to plank. As you exhale, bend your knees, bend your elbows, send your hips up and back to downward facing dog. I'll demonstrate one more time with knees down. Inhale to round spine, forward to plank. Exhale to bend knees and elbows, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take one more spinal roll at your own pace. Inhale to round the spine forward. Exhale, don't forget to bend knees and elbows on your way back. Let's do one more. Inhale to round forward.
Exhale to bend knees and elbows. Nice work, everyone. All right, from your downward facing dog, bend your knees. Look in between your hands, step forward, right and left, fold forward. Inhale, interlace fingers behind the back, halfway lift, draw shoulders away from the ears. And exhale to fold, plant your hands. Step your left foot back this time, lower left knee down. Inhale to sweep fingertips, come up, low lunge. Drag your inner thighs towards each other. Inhale to reach arms up, stretch up. Exhale, cactus arms, bend your elbows, stretch fingertips. With your inhale, lift your chest. And with your exhale, draw elbows back in space. 2 more breaths. Inhale to lift. Exhale to send your chest up. With every inhale, lift. And with every exhale, find your back bend. Inhale to come back to center, reach arms up, stretch up. Exhale, take a twist to your right this time. Send your right arm back, left arm forward. Hug your right thigh to the center line of your body, legs are strong. You can stay as you are if you stayed on the other side, or press your back toes into the mat, lift your back knee to a high lunge, stay twisted. 1 more inhale where you are. And exhale, inhale, chest forward, arms up. Exhale, hands down, frame your front foot. Step your right foot back to plank. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. And take your options. You can stay here in stillness. You can take a child's pose. You can take 3 spinal rolls. You have 3 breaths to choose. Nice work, everyone. If you're practicing with us at home, don't forget to bend elbows and knees on your way back to down dog, building some strength in the arms and the legs on your way back. All right. From downward facing dog, bend your knees. Look in between hands, step forward, left and right, and fold forward. Interlace fingers behind the back. Inhale to lift halfway. And exhale to fold. Sweep your fingertips across the mat, bend the knees, come all the way up to stand, reach up, stretch up. Exhale, arms down to interlace fingers behind your back. Inhale to lift your chest. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward. Choose your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, crown of the head towards the front edge of your mat. And exhale to release your grip, fold forward, plant your hands. Step your right foot back to a runner's lunge, so your right knee stays lifted this time. With your next inhale, sweep your fingertips, come up, high lunge. Drag your right heel towards the back edge of your mat and press your left knee towards the left edge of your mat. With your inhale, reach your arms up, and as you exhale, take a twist to your left, send your left arm back and your right arm forward. All right, keep hugging your left thigh to the center line of your body so your front leg is strong. Try this without looking. Bring your right hand to the inside of your front foot onto the mat. Take a twist, reach your left arm up. Keep sending your right heel back towards the back edge of your mat. Maybe your gaze is up towards your thumb. All right, now your front leg is active. Press big toes of the front foot into the mat. Stay twisted and come back up. High lunge twist. Inhale, chest forward, arms up. And exhale to open your arms, your hips, your back foot. Warrior 2. So find your stability in your warrior 2 feet. Deep bend in the front knee. Press the outer edge of the back foot into the mat. Maybe your gaze or your drishti is over your front middle finger. 1 inhale where you are. Flip your front palm. Legs stay strong. Reach forward, reach up, and reach back. Reverse your warrior. Choose what you want to do with your right hand. You could rest the right hand on the thigh, the back thigh, or maybe wrap your right arm around your waist. Take a hold of the inner thigh of the front leg. Keep the front knee bent. 1 more inhale to reach back a little bit more. And exhale to come back, warrior 2. Slowly, slowly straighten your front leg. Preparing for triangle, you might want to pop a block to the inside of your front foot for some extra stability. Start by dragging your heels towards one another. Find a gentle lift in your hips. Legs are strong. Inhale to reach forward. Reach forward until you can't reach anymore. Bring your left arm down, right arm up. Peel your chest, open and up towards the ceiling. If looking up doesn't feel right for you, you can always send your gaze down. Drag your heels towards one another. Your legs are strong. You're here for 1 more breath. Now listen carefully as you exhale, send your gaze down, bend your front knee and rest your left elbow on your left thigh. Reach your right arm overhead for side angle. Your left arm is active. Press the arm into the thigh to get your shoulder away from your ear. So try to avoid resting your ear on your shoulder, but really keep that arm active. Keep reaching right fingertips overhead. Now you have the option to stay as you are, or zip your belly up and release your left arm parallel to the right. Imagine that you're holding a beach ball in your hands. Feel free to come up slightly, especially if this feels any twinge in the lower back. One more inhale where you are. Can you feel your chest opening up a little bit more? As you exhale, press your right toes into the mat, lift your right heel, swivel on your back foot, chest forward, arms up, high lunge. Find your stability in your feet before you start to move. Your gaze is fixed onto a still spot in front of you. Choose your warrior 3 arms. So this could be arms up or hands to prayer, arms down, your choice. Come up high onto your back toes. Hinge your upper body forward and launch your back leg off the mat. Dial your back toes down. Suck your left hip bone in and up. Your standing leg is strong. Keep your gaze fixed where it is. Listen carefully. Bend your right knee. Take a hold of the inside of your right foot with your right hand and reach your left arm out in front of you. Keep your gaze fixed. For dancer pose, kick your foot into your hand. Maybe find that lift in your chest. Do what feels right for you. If grabbing a hold of the foot isn't within reach today, that's okay. Simply bend your knee, reach your arm out in front of you. One more inhale where you are. Exhale to bend your left knee, release your foot. Soft touch back to a high lunge, reach arms up. And slowly bring your hands down, frame your front foot, runner's lunge. Lower your back knee down. Set up for pigeon pose as you bring your left shin onto the mat. So if you find that your left hip is lifted, feel free to rest your left hip or left glute onto a block. Check in that your back leg is straight, so your back heel is in line with your back hip. You also have the option to bend the back knee. Feel free to stay here, maybe rest your hands on the floor and find a back bend, or slowly walk your hands forward and find your version of pigeon. Feel free to rest your forehead on a block and breathe into the left glute, the left hip. Keep the pose active by flexing the front foot and pressing the top of the back foot into the mat. You're here for 3 more breaths. All right, take your time to bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, straighten your arms. Send your left leg back in space, take a split dog, raise your left leg up. And slowly lower your left foot down and take your options. You have 3 breaths. You can do spinal rolls. You could stay in stillness. You could take a child's pose. Your choice. You have 3 breaths. Let's take this one. All right, from downward facing dog, bend your knees, look in between your hands, step forward, right and left, fold forward. Interlace fingers behind your back, inhale to lift halfway, shoulders away from the ears. And exhale to release your grip and fold forward. Plant your hands, step your left foot back to a runner's lunge. So your left knee is lifted. Sweep your fingertips, come up, high lunge. So if, like me, in your high lunge, you have quite an arch in your lower back, there's a nice self-assist you can do here to neutralize your spine. So you can bring your right finger into your belly button and your back hand or your left hand onto your tailbone. Bend your back knee. You'll notice your belly button rise and your tailbone falls. This is a nice way to neutralize your spine. Keep it there and straighten your back leg. With your inhale, reach arms up. And as you exhale, take a twist to your right. This time, send your right arm back, left arm forward. Hug your right thigh to the center line of your body. Without looking, bring your left hand down to the inside of your right foot. Reach your right arm up. Inhale to reach up. Without looking, keep the twist and very slowly, very mindfully make your way back up. Inhale, chest forward, arms up, high lunge. And exhale to open your arms, your hips, your back foot, warrior two. Keep the deep bend in your front knee. Press outer edge of back foot into the mat to activate your back leg. Remember that your gaze or your drishti, so your focus point, is over your front middle finger. Can you scissor your inner thighs together a little bit more? Legs are strong. Flip your front palm. Reach forward, reach up, and reach back. Reverse your warrior. Choose to do the same with the left arm this time as you did with the right arm on the other side. Maybe grab your inner thigh, maybe reach your arm back. Essentially, this is a side bend and not a back bend. So the stretch is coming from the right hip flexor all the way up the right side of your body. One more inhale where you are. Exhale to come back, warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Drag your heels towards one another. Prepare for triangle pose. If you used a block on the other side, use one on this side. Inhale to reach forward. Reach until you can't reach anymore. Bring your right arm down, left arm up. Peel your chest, open and up towards the ceiling. Peel your left hip up towards the ceiling. And send your right hip forward. With your inhale, maybe send your gaze up towards your thumb or keep your gaze down. Drag your heels together one last time. Maybe find that lift in your hips. And exhale, everyone gaze down. Bend the right knee, rest right elbow on the right thigh. Reach your left arm overhead. Don't forget about the back foot. So keep pressing the outer edge of the back foot into the mat. All right, if you stayed on the other side, then stay here. Otherwise, peel your chest open and up towards the ceiling. Core is zipped up. Release your right arm. Hold your beach ball. Maybe come up slightly. Maybe peel your chest open and up a little bit more. One more breath where you are. And exhale to press left toes into the mat. Lift your left heel. Pivot on the back foot. Chest forward. Arms up. Setting up for warrior three, choose your warrior three arms. Maybe try something different to what you did on the other side. When you're ready, come up high onto your back toes. Hinge your upper body forward and launch your back leg off the mat. Dial your back toes down. Suck right hip bone this time in and up. Zip your belly up. All right, setting up for that strange transition. Bend the left knee this time. Take a hold of the inside of the left foot with the left hand. Reach your right arm out in front of you. Kick your foot into your hand to find dancer pose. Keep your gaze fixed in front of you. One more inhale where you are. Listen carefully to come out. Bend the right knee. Release the back foot. Soft touch back to a high lunge. Reach arms up. And exhale, hands down to frame your front foot. Lower your back knee down. And bring your right shin onto the mat this time. Left leg reaches back. Find your version of pigeon pose. So if you used a block on the other side, use one on this side to support your right hip. If you stayed up for the back bend, feel free to stay here. Wherever you are, the front foot is flexed to keep the pose active. And slowly, slowly, if you fold it forward on the other side, then go for that on this side. Breathing into your right hip, your right glute. The front foot is still flexed. Maybe press the top of the back foot into the mat. One last inhale and exhale where you are. And bring your hands underneath your shoulders, straighten your arms. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. And send your right leg up and back to a split dog. Right foot comes down, downward facing dog. Take your options. 3 spinal rolls. Stay in stillness. Or take a child's pose, your choice. All right, from downward facing dog, lower down onto your knees, take a child's pose. Maybe your knees are wide, come to sit down on your heels for an opening in the hips. Maybe your knees are together for a compression in your lower back. So choose the version of child's pose that works best for you. With every inhale, can you reach your fingertips out in front of you? And with every exhale, can you send your hips down towards your heels? No force. In your own time, make your way back to downward facing dog.
Bend your knees, look in between your hands, step forward, left and right, and fold forward. Hang out here for a moment. Find any kind of relief pose that feels good for you here. You might simply want to sway left to right, hang out in ragdoll. Maybe bring your feet a little bit wider. This is a great opportunity for you to check in with what your body is asking for in this moment. All right, bring yourself to stillness. Hands on your hips, bend your knees, engage your core very slowly, very mindfully. Make your way up to stand. Come to stand at the center of your mat. And take this moment to fix your gaze onto a still spot in front of you. Maybe close your eyes, maybe soften your gaze. Bring your attention down to your feet. Notice the connection of the soles of your feet to the surface that you are standing on. Raise all 10 toes off your mat. And if you can, one toe at a time, lower them down. Your gaze is still fixed onto that still spot as you blink your eyes open. Raise your arms up overhead and bring your right knee up towards your chest, flex your right foot. Bend your left knee and wrap your right leg over your left for eagle pose. Now you do have the option to rest your right toes onto a block. You could stay here. You could bring your arms to eagle arms as you bring your right arm underneath your left, just like we started the class. Elbows come away from your chest. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Keep your gaze fixed with your inhale. Lift elbows away from the chest. Feel free to stay here or exhale to fold forward. Bringing your elbows towards your knees. Your gaze is still fixed on that still spot in front of you. Squeezing inner thighs together. Can you sit down a little bit lower? One more inhale. And exhale. Inhale to slowly reverse out the same way you came in. Release your arms, knee to chest, reach arms up. And exhale, arms down, feet down, come to stand. So finding your grounding once more in your feet before you move to the other side. I want to start by saying that it's natural for your two sides to feel different. So try to go into this with no judgment. Try. Inhale to raise your arms up, left knee to chest, flex your left foot. Your gaze is fixed. Bend your right knee this time. Left leg wraps over the right. Squeeze inner thighs together or rest left toes onto the block. Arms come out, left arm swings underneath the right. Cross at your elbows, maybe palms together, maybe back of the hands together. Inhale to lift elbows away from the chest. Exhale to stay where you are if you did on the other side or fold forward. With every inhale, maybe draw your elbows a little bit away. And with every exhale, either squeeze inner thighs together or fold forward a little bit more. Your gaze is still fixed. Left toes point down towards the floor. One more inhale and exhale. Inhale to slowly reverse out the same way you came in. Reach arms up, flex the foot. And exhale, arms down, feet down. Give yourself a little pat on the back. This is not an easy pose. It takes a lot of focus, concentration. Still standing at the center of your mat. Bring your toes out, your heels in. Your feet are as wide as your mat. Keeping your gaze fixed onto the still spot in front of you, raise your arms up and come up high onto your toes. Lift your heels. Palm tree pose. Lift your arms out from your waist. Imagine that somebody's pulling your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Hands come to prayer overhead. And draw your prayer down the center line of your body. As you do, keep your heels lifted and bend your knees. Heels lifted, bend your knees. Heels lifted, bend your knees. Make your way down to squat.
Coming down to your version of squat. Now, if your heels don't quite make contact with the floor, you can use a block, or if you're at home and you don't have blocks, books work well, or pillows. Rest your heels on the blocks, and checking that your toes and your knees, I always say toes and knees point in the same direction to help avoid any twisting in your knees. Hands come to prayer at heart center. Use the back of your arms to gently press your hips open. Allow your tailbone to be heavy. Lengthen the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Bring your right hand in front of your right foot. Inhale to reach your left arm up and take a twist. Pause here. Keep breathing. You could stay as you are, or you could deepen the twist by pressing your arm into your thigh and your thigh into your arm. With your next exhale, bring your left hand down, left hand in front of your left foot. Inhale to reach your right arm up and take a twist. This time, press left arm into thigh, thigh into arm, maybe deepen the twist if you did on the other side. With your next exhale, bring your right hand down. Take your time to make your way to tabletop. So your knees are roughly below your hips. All right, as we set up for Shoelace Pose, start by sending your right knee forward and wrap your right leg around your left so that the back of your right knee is in front of your left knee. Send your feet as wide as your mat to create some space for your seat. As you walk your hands back, come to sit. So shoelace is actually a yin pose. This is cow face, which is a vinyasa pose. So maybe your knees stack on top of one another. Maybe you extend your bottom leg out. Maybe you stay here and your hands are on your feet and you sit up tall. You can also widen your cow face by opening the legs, so choose what feels right for you. Reach your arms out. If you're choosing to include arms, bring your right arm up, left arm down. Bend your elbows and reach for your hands. So you don't have to grab your hands. My hands aren't touching. So simply reach for the hands and send your right elbow up towards the ceiling. Sending your left elbow down towards the floor. Maybe find a gentle lift in your chest. One more inhale where you are. And exhale to slowly, slowly release your hands. Bring your hands behind you, lean back, and swap your legs. If you took a half cow face on the other side, extend your bottom leg. Notice the subtle differences between the two sides. There's always a slight difference. If you chose to stay, then stay, sit up tall. Otherwise, bringing the arms in, arms reach out. Bringing the right arm down, this time left arm up, bend your elbows, reach for your hands. Once again, send your left elbow up, send your right elbow down, finding that opening your chest, maybe your gaze and your chest up towards the ceiling. One more inhale where you are. Can you lift a little bit more? And exhale to slowly, slowly release. Your hands come behind you. Release your legs. Extend your legs out in front of you. Bring your hands behind you and your fingertips point towards you. So this is a little bit kinder on the elbows. You could choose fingertips facing back. So choose what feels right for you and your arms. Take a look at your knees. Bend your knees and bring your feet to where your knees were. As we set up for reverse tabletop, start by pressing your hands into the mat. Your hands are active, your arms are active. Lift your hips and send your hips towards your heels. Send your gaze up, lift your hips up towards the ceiling, reverse tabletop. Press hands and feet into the mat. Remember that you always have the option to come out whenever you want. Keep pressing hands into the mat, keep sending hips up towards the ceiling. Your neck is engaged, your gaze is towards the ceiling. Zip your belly up. One more inhale where you are. And exhale to slowly, slowly lower your hips down. Walk your hands towards yourself. Cross at your ankles, roll over your knees, and come to lay on your belly. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Zip your legs up all the way down to your big toes. As we set up for Cobra Pose, maybe rest your chin on the mat. With your next inhale, lift your chest, only your chest, off the mat. Your gaze is forward, elbows point back in space, shoulders away from the ears. You could stay where you are, or you could press the tops of your feet into the mat. Notice that your knees lift, your thighs engage. Maybe stay here or raise your hands off the mat. Wherever you are, your elbows and shoulders come back in space. All the strength is coming from your lower back. One more inhale, can you come up a little bit higher, no force? And exhale to slowly, slowly lower down. Maybe rest your forehead on the back of your hands. Maybe rest a cheek on the mat. Try to allow your arms to relax wherever you are. Allow your heels to flop wherever they land. Perhaps taking this moment to come back to what your intention was for today's practice. All right, so Cobra is still an option for you, or if you want to give Locust a try, reach your arms down either side of your body, zip legs up all the way down to the big toes, maybe rest your chin on your mat. Cobras lift only your chest off the mat. Locust, lift your chest, lift your arms, and lift your legs off the mat. You can choose maybe airplane arms, send your arms wide, palms face down. Perhaps interlace your fingers behind your back and draw your shoulder blades towards one another if you haven't had enough of that for today. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Maybe try and get your big toes to touch and send your gaze forward. One more full inhale and exhale where you are. Inhale, can you lift one last time? And exhale to slowly, slowly lower down, release your grip. If you rested a cheek on the other side, rest the opposite cheek on this side. Allowing your heels to flop wherever they land. So once again, Cobra and Locust are options for you. Or if you want to go for bridge, bend your knees and take a hold of your feet from the outside. Now, if this is already uncomfortable for your knees or your lower back, I highly recommend going for Locust for today. Otherwise, kick your feet into your hands. So all the strength is coming from your legs. As you kick your feet into your hands, your chest is forward, your gaze is forward, your shoulders relax. With every inhale, can you kick a little bit more? With every exhale, can you squeeze your knees towards one another? Inhale to kick. Exhale to squeeze inner thighs. Last one, inhale. And exhale, slowly, slowly lower down. Release your legs. Allow your arms to rest either side of your body. And with your attention on your lower back, take a few diaphragmatic breaths. So the breathing practice we did right at the beginning of the class. Breathing into your belly button, you might notice some compression or pressure in your lower back as you breathe in. And exhale maybe by nose or mouth, finding that release. Breathing in this way is a lovely way for you to release your lower back. Finding a little bit of relief from any tension or maybe discomfort or pain. Take your time to roll over onto your back. And bend your knees. Bring the soles of your feet onto the mat. Checking in that your ankles are roughly below your knees. As we set up for bridge pose, hug your shoulder blades under your heart space. Maybe tuck your chin towards your chest, find some length in the back of your neck. And when you're ready, press your feet into the mat, peel your spine off the mat, send your hips up towards the ceiling for bridge pose. You could stay here, you could interlace fingers behind the back, draw shoulder blades together, find a slightly deeper back bend. Wherever you are, keep pressing feet into the mat, sending hips up towards the ceiling. With every inhale, lift your hips. With every exhale, squeeze inner thighs. Inhale to lift. Exhale to squeeze.
Inhale to lift. Exhale to squeeze. On your next exhale, slowly reverse out the same way that you came in. Release hands, release shoulders, lower down, one vertebra at a time. All right, take a moment here to rest. I'm going to demonstrate wheel pose, and then I will give you the opportunity to actually practice the pose. But please take a look at the demonstration before you do the pose. So we'll start in the same starting position as bridge. You bring your arms up, bend your elbows, your fingertips point towards your shoulders. Your hands are shoulder width or wider, so you've got a wide base of stability. Always start by lifting your hips first, and then press your hands into the mat to start to straighten your arms and make your way up to wheel. Now, if you feel the need to come onto the top of your head first to bring yourself up, I highly recommend bridge for today. It's quite a bit of pressure for your neck to take. So just as important how to come out from your wheel pose, start by tucking your chin towards your chest, bend your elbows, come down onto the back of your head first, and then release your hands and slowly lower down. So notice how I didn't move really quickly in and out of the pose. I moved really slowly, very mindfully. So it's important for all back bending to move as slowly as possible. All right, so if you're going for wheel, you can start in the bridge pose position. If you want to go for bridge, feel free to go for bridge. Or if you want to take a rest, feel free to take a rest. So wheels, start by bringing your hands, fingertips pointing towards the shoulders, hands at least shoulder width or wider. All right, fingertips are spread wide. Press feet into the mat. Lift your hips off the mat first. All right, then press hands into the mat. Start to straighten your arms. Give it a try. There we go. So it's natural for this to feel extremely challenging for the arms. It does take a lot of strength and range of motion to get that going into the arms. If you're up in wheel, take one more inhale where you are. And exhale to slowly lower down wheels and bridges. Rest your arms either side of your body. Heel toe your feet out to the edges of your mat. Allow your knees to kiss. Let your lower back rest on the floor. Perhaps take a few deep belly breaths where you are, finding some release for your lower back. Knowing that wheel is definitely a pose that not only takes a lot of effort, but also takes a lot of kind of persistence to get there. All right, wherever you are, raise your legs up towards the ceiling. Soles of your feet face the ceiling. You could bring your hands underneath your lower back, palms face down to keep your legs up in this way, or if you have a block or a book close by, pop your prop underneath your lower back. You could also bring your hands behind your knees to keep your legs up. Feel free to find a soft bend in your knees. Having your legs up in this way is a lovely way for you to neutralize your spine after all of the back bending. And perhaps stay here in stillness, or maybe find a gentle rock of your legs side to side. Giving your lower back a little bit of a massage. And when you're ready, bend your knees, hug your knees towards your chest. Give yourself a well-deserved hug and a squeeze. Finding any movement that feels good for you here. You might want to rock side to side. You might want to rock forward and back. You might want to tuck your chin towards your chest and lift your head up towards your knees. Simply checking in with what your body is asking for. And bring yourself to stillness. Leave your knees in your chest. Release your arms out to shoulder height or higher as you prepare for a spinal twist, a supine twist. Engage your core and release your knees over to the left at belly button height or higher so that you get that twist into the center of your spine. If you notice that your legs don't quite make contact with each other or with the floor, you could rest a block or a prop to the inside of your thighs or underneath your left knee. If you're noticing any discomfort in your lower back, bring your knees a little bit closer to your chest. Perhaps soften your gaze or close your eyes as you start to wind down. Maybe allowing your top leg to be heavy and your belly soft. Slowly engage your core, knees come back to center, and release them over to the right. Take the same option you did on the other side if you used any props. Once again, your top leg is heavy, and your belly is soft. Allow yourself to ease into the twist. Engage your core, knees come back to center. And if you'd like to, you can take a happy baby as your final pose. Maybe bring hands behind the knees and send your knees as wide as your body, or grab the outer edges of your feet, knees wide. You could stay here in stillness, or maybe rock side to side, bend and extend each leg. Maybe bring the soles of your feet together. Find anything that feels good for you here. Any movement, any stillness. And slowly release your feet, release your legs. Extend your legs for your final relaxation, your final Shavasana. Taking up the full length and the full width of your mat. For the last time, deep inhale in through your nose. Keep inhaling, belly rise, hold it at the top. And a big sigh out through your mouth. Allow your body to settle. And bring your attention to your eyebrow center. Visualize a glowing light hovering at your eyebrow center. This light is here to help you to find some softness in your body and to ease your mind. Allow the light to soften the center of your eyebrows. Soften your eyes, your jaw, as you allow your tongue to fall away from your palate. Send a wave of light through your shoulders and your chest, through your waist and your elbows, through your hips,
hips. Your hands are heavy, your fingertips curled. Allow your wave of light to flow through your thighs. Your knees heavy. Through your shins and your calves. Through your ankles. Allowing that final wave of light to flow out through the soles of your feet and the tips of your toes. Your entire body at ease and peaceful. Slowly, slowly start to notice your breath. No need for movement. Notice how your body breathes itself. You don't have to control this process. Notice your physical body lying down on the floor. Coming back to pinpoint those areas that you might have noticed needed some extra attention. And noticing if anything feels different in your physical body. Notice how the quality of the air in the room feels on your skin. And perhaps start to deepen your breath as a way to gently welcome yourself back. Maybe find some micro movements that feel good for you right now. You could wiggle your toes or your fingers. Maybe move your head side to side. Try to keep your attention inside for a little bit longer. And when you're ready, bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet onto your mat. Roll over to any side that is comfortable for you. Make a pillow with your hands. Pause there for a moment. Use your top hand to gently press yourself up to sit in any way that feels comfortable for you. Trying to keep your awareness inside, take this final moment to check in with yourself one last time. Check in with your body, your breath, and your mind. If it's comfortable for you, bring your hands to prayer at heart center, Anjali Mudra. And as you bow your head towards your hands for the last time, mentally state your intention back to yourself. I thank you all for joining me on the mat today. Wishing you a wonderful day ahead. Namaste. So thank you to everyone who joined at home as well. I'll see you soon.